Hi, this is Sam Jack from Newton Public Library. A few months ago, I shared a historical article I wrote giving a day-by-day account of the first 10 days of the 1918 flu epidemic in Wichita. Doing that research just a couple of weeks after our own epidemic really erupted was quite an experience. I saw parallels left and right, and I think those parallels would be apparent to anybody who reads that article. Today, I'd like to give a quick tour of the online resource I used to research the article, the Kansas Historical Society's Digital Newspapers program. Through partnerships and grants, the Historical Society digitized more than 50,000 rolls of newspaper microfilm. That's nearly 12 million pages of historic Kansas newspapers dated 1923 and earlier. They're all available at the click of a mouse, providing an extraordinarily detailed window into our state's early history. I can think of many ways you might use this collection: genealogical research, of course, but also as primary sources for a school history paper or independent research project. Start looking through these papers, and in one way or another, your curiosity will definitely be rewarded. To start, I'm navigating to kshs.org. The digital newspapers can be found under Research, Online Collections, Digital Newspapers. So along with some background info on the project, there are 3 links here. The first is to Chronicling America, which is a huge but relatively limited collection of historic newspaper scans from the Library of Congress. There may be some papers available through Chronicling America that are not available at these next 2 links, but I haven't come across them yet. So the 2 newspaper links, one says Kansas Resident Access and the other says Open Access. With Kansas Resident Access, you have to put in your Kansas driver's license or state ID number to get in. But actually, I've stopped using this because I haven't found anything at this point that isn't available on open access. And I think the reason for that might be that the State Historical Society has completely scanned everything that they have that's in the public domain, up to 1923 anyway. And so everything is more than 3 years old. So it's gone on to open access, which is great news if you're not a Kansas resident. Hey, just jumping in to interrupt myself for a second here. After I recorded this part, I checked with the Kansas State Historical Society, and what I just said is actually wrong. There are about 4 million pages on the open access, and then there's another 8 million that you still have to log into the Kansas Resident Access for a total of 12 million. I guess that most of the research I've done has been Newton and Wichita papers, which all do seem to be on open access, but that Kansas Resident Access is still going to be something you're definitely going to want to use depending on what you're researching. Okay, back to our regularly scheduled programming. So I'll go ahead and click on Open Access. All right, here we have the home page. How you proceed from here depends on what you know versus what you're trying to find out. If you know what time period and what town or city you're interested in, you probably want to click on Browse the Archive by Date. So this brings up a list of Kansas cities that have or had newspapers, and then you can just click on the town or city that you're interested in. I'm going to go ahead and scroll down here and click on Newton. And that brings up, this is the 6 newspapers that they've got digitized microfilm. And there are some, if you look at the next, that's the homepage for like Harvey County News. This is one thing you can click on for each newspaper and kind of go to the newspaper's homepage, as it were. But I didn't mean to click on that, so I'm going to go back. So if you click on this, but not on the little I, you can see what years they've got papers for. The Newton Kansan goes straight through 1872 up through 1922, and the Kansan Republican, similar time period. Newton's usually been a newspaper, well, maybe not usually, but Newton's often been a 2 newspaper town throughout its history, including in the present day with the Newton Kansan and Newton Now. So gives you more to look through. Anyway, so I will go ahead and click on the Evening Kansan, and then if you know the year, you can click on the year. and then the month, and then the date. And that gets you to, you can see that the paper for that date had 8 pages, and then you click on that and you've winnowed all the way down to actually looking at these old scanned papers and scanned microfilm. And it's pretty interesting. You can pretty much just start anywhere and get really absorbed just reading the news of the past. So yeah, if you already know the date and location an event occurred, this is probably the approach that it makes sense to start with. You can look at the newspaper for the date that it happened, the date that it happened, what occurred, or you can look for the next issue or the next few issues to see if you can find a mention of it. Another very powerful way to go about this is to search by keyword. All the newspapers in this collection have been scanned with optical character recognition, which means that they are totally full text searchable. This vastly speeds things up compared to, even the microfilm collection we have at the library that's just on microfilm. It would save countless hours of countless researchers if we eventually are able to scan that and make it full text searchable. Whenever that happens, it's going to be a great thing. Anyway, this OCR process is not totally foolproof. As you can see, this page is fairly good, and I'm sure that the OCR for this is fairly good too. But you can see it's not perfect. So, if you search for a keyword, some things are going to get missed. Other things are going to turn up as like false positives. So if you want to be totally sure that you're not missing something, you still have to, scroll through basically the more traditional microfilm research mode. So I'm going to go move over to the homepage for the scans of the Evening Kansas Republican. And now I'll click on this I button, because this brings us, it's kind of like a homepage for the publication. And I just kind of like to start searches from here. So why don't I go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and search for Spanish flu, which is what I researched for that story about the Spanish flu in Wichita. Let's not do quotation marks, but that's story on Spanish flu in Wichita that I referenced earlier. And I'll just hit search, and it'll search within the Evening Kansas Republican for the words Spanish and flu. Okay, so it comes up, I've got 93 matches to begin with, which isn't an unmanageable number by any means. But the first thing I'm going to do is this over here. You can see it shows the frequency that the phrase is mentioned, organized by date. And I'm going to drag this. I know that the Spanish flu started in 1918. So any mention of it before 1918 is going to be a false positive, basically. So I'll just drag this slider over and hit apply. And that brings the number of matches down to 65. And then, okay, so let's look at the results we've got here. It's pretty neat. It zooms right in on where the phrase appears, so you can look and see, does it really say Spanish flu, or is it a mistake with the optical character recognition? Saves you from doing too much excess clicking. Right now it's organized by relevance, which in the relevance mode, I think the only thing that they have for relevance is if the phrase appears more than once on a page, then that'll go up to the top. So I see Spanish flu, it appears 3 times on this page from October 17, 1918, 3 times on this page from January 30th, 1920. So that's useful, especially, I guess, especially if you're not trying to really go through the whole chronology of the event or the theme that you're looking at. But I think it's also good. You can change it to paper date oldest or newest and kind of start from the beginning. So here, again, it's always possible that there are previous mentions that the optical character recognition didn't pick up, but this is the first one chronologically, the first mention of it, the Spanish flu, that's picked up in the Evening Kansas Republican. And we're back on here, and it really nifty. It goes right to the spot on the page, and we can see that it's a call for nurses. The nurses will be dispatched to the nearest point which the epidemic is threatening. So it's basically a want ad. And you can see that there's this blue line around it. That's because when I was preparing this, I already clipped it, but I'll show you the clip. I'll go ahead and show you the clip tool. It's pretty neat. You can see my beautiful picture up here. I've logged in. You can log in with Facebook, or you can create an account with your email, or you can link your Ancestry account if you use that. And that allows you to save clips. I'll go ahead and demonstrate taking a clip of something else, since I already clipped that story up above. All right, you just drag, and this item about the Aldine Club, whatever that is. And then, if you're doing a research project, you could use this a couple different ways. You might just put the person, if you're doing a genealogy, you might put the person's name that this clip is concerning. If it's something historical, you might summarize what the news item is about. So I say Aldine Club holds first meeting of season, and then I'll hit clip. Okay, and then the various options, you can email it to yourself. You can even turn it into a Facebook or save it to Ancestry. If you just click save, then that it'll download it. It downloaded it as a PDF to my computer, and then I go here to my account and I click on my clippings, and here are the clippings I've done. This is the one I just did. This is the one about the Spanish flu that I did as practice, and then the rest of these are actually some historical clips about Newton Public Library that I did a while ago. And it's some pretty interesting stuff there about the early days of the library. So on the same vein with the clips, I wanted to show, let me get back to the Evening Kansas Republican homepage here. It's a nifty feature. You can actually see all of the clips that other people have done. I'm not sure if there's a way to keep your clippings off of this page if you don't want them to be shared. But these are clippings that other people have done. You can see, the obituaries, most of it is people working on family genealogy or projects like that. Sometimes you'll find, really interesting stories that people have found and that they're collecting different ways. And that kind of gives you an insight onto what's happening now in terms of looking through and researching these papers. So another thing on this, I'll go ahead and type another keyword here, Ragsdale, because that's another thing that I'm currently working on. Is next month for the third Tuesday genealogy / local history series that we do at the library, I'm working on a talk on theaters and professional acting and opera and stuff before the dawn of cinema. And the Ragsdale Theater was burned down on New Year's Day in 1915. But prior to that, in the early history of Newton, it was the place to go, the Ragsdale Opera House, for entertainment. And you can see here, there's nearly 2,500 matches of the word Ragsdale in the Evening Kansas and Republican between 1899 and, mostly before 1910, it looks like. And then kind of dwindling out after the place burned down. But I'm pretty sure that most of these are concerning the Ragsdale Opera House, advertisements of shows that were there and things like that. So it's really, I'm still kind of looking through this to find interesting tidbits about the people, the kinds of shows that were there, the way the business worked, stuff like that. And you can see an ad. This is kind of interesting, a little tiny line ad of text. Smith will be at the new Ragsdale on December 1st. And they repeat it again down there. So anyway, that probably is about it for this little tutorial video. If you have any questions about it, or just want some help with your research project, I am more than happy to do that. My email is sjack, SJACK, at newtonplks.org. And I am more than happy to help with your research, or if you have a school history project and want to kick a few ideas around about what would be some good topics to research using these digital newspapers, anything like that would be great. And you can also call the library 316-283-2890, and we can help you that way. So I hope that you all just just spend a bit of time, just kind of kick around in here. You'll definitely find something interesting. It's amazing to read about how attitudes and social mores have changed, and really, there's an interesting story on every page, and there are millions of pages. So it's just way more than anybody could go through in a whole lifetime. All right, signing off.